Okay, for the second part, we're going to talk about your animal. Now, this is not going to be a step-by-step character creation process. Go ahead and look in the description below where I actually do have a video, a curated video, so you don't have to worry about side conversation and tangents. That's right. There's a curated video on how to create a character, step-by-step, every aspect of it. So, but what we're going to talk about here is generally how to create a character and what's some of the things in this game. Different things. Like before we had mutant humans, well, now we have mutant animals. What's different about a mutant human and a mutant animal? And we're going to cover those in just a moment. We believe that role-playing games should take place in fantastic worlds. The focus of the game should be on role-playing and having a good time. The core values of #RPGate and any good tabletop group are escapism, not representation, entertainment over activism, and natural, organic inclusion, not forced diversity. The charity we support is the Wounded Warrior Project, a national, nonpartisan organization whose mission is to honor and empower wounded warriors. Please refer to the description below for the link to where you can make your hopefully tax-deductible donation. Join us Thursday and Saturday evenings on twitch.tv/Legion of Myth to watch Heathen Dog and his team of dirty casuals play multiplayer games for your mockery and enjoyment. Here on our YouTube channel, you can watch these game-related segments live every Sunday at 1 p.m. Central Time, or check out the Friday Night Show stream where our panel of guests opine, comment, and editorialize on the TTRPG hobby as a whole. Please like this video and leave a comment to appease the algorithm gods. Share this video on your favorite social media platforms to help us peer out of the shadows cast over us. And if you have not done so already, please subscribe to Legion of Myth for more tabletop RPG goodness. All right, real quickly, I do want to show that I have the map, and we can kind of zoom in on it more, because we're going to talk about the animals a little bit in this one. And you can see...
You even have a ski lift? Jesus, man.
Yep.
This place got everything.
It does. All your amenities. Now, you can't get past this mountain range. Can't. And I say it like that because, you know, players always complain about, oh, I should be able to blah, blah, blah. Look, there is a border around this for a reason. You're not going to get around. The drones will stop you. The watchers will stop you. The fence will stop you. By the way, if I remember correctly, there isn't just one fence either. This is like a double fence, if I remember correctly. So even if you get to one fence, then the next one, you know, zaps you. So that's if I'm remembering correctly. It's been a while since I read that. But you can see the bunnies are over here. Got your badgers over here. I don't think you see moose on here anywhere. Yeah, you got monkeys in the middle. There's nobody like... See, that's what I'd wipe out. Lizards up here, the swampland. But, all right. Is that really, really important? Oh, no, badgers are there. Then what's this? Oh, these are bears. Never mind. Bears there, badgers there. Does it really matter? No, but it gives you an idea of the 9 tribes. I keep calling them factions or tribes. Okay, so let's F11 this bad boy, and let's talk about your animal. Now, again, character creation process is the same as Mutant Year Zero. So we're going to skip most of that. We are going to talk about animal type and tribe, though, because this starts to play in a little differently. Do you remember? Let's see if Heathen Dog paid attention. No, I'm not going to put him on the spot like that. In Mutant Year Zero, when you made your character, your role determined what you could have as was it your key attribute?
Yeah.
So if you were an enforcer, it was strength. That means your strength could be a 5. What you're going to find out here is your animal and your role now determine that. So you can have 2 5s.
Nice.
Or a 6. Animal types. Anybody who's played Mutant Year Zero, Road to Eden, is going to notice that the 2 main characters are not on this list. It's like, what? If you remember, the 2 main characters are a duck, because something about Swedish people like ducks in their games. And the other one was a boar. There's no boar here. But let's say Heathen Dog's like, I don't want to be a mutt. I want to be something cool. I want to be a wolf. Well, that's fine. You don't have to be a pure, just, you know, you don't have to be a chihuahua. You can be a wolf. Cats include basically all types of cats. House cats or wild cats. Rats include rat, mouse, and squirrel. And if you do watch the character creation video, If you do watch the character creation video, you will see that I made a squirrel. And here's the key attribute: instinct, agility. So, like before, that means that agility for a squirrel can be a 5 instead of a 2 through a 4. And if you're wondering, well, what does that mean in the context of the game? Again, watch the skill section in the Mutant Year Zero videos. But without going through all the animals here, you see how they are. The moose down here, you can be a moose, a deer, a reindeer. So for whatever reason you want to play Bambi, you can. What's the advantage of them? Strength. Although most people I've seen, they make characters go right to the bear.
Oh, ape will work too. Gorilla, that's pretty strong.
Yeah. Yeah, but they get wits. Because, they're smart. They're primates. They're us.
Well,
they're all monkeys. I don't care what anybody says. It should say monkey. Wipe them out, all of them.
Wow, you really hate monkeys, don't you?
I do. I don't know what it is. I don't even know why. Like when that lady had her face ripped off by a monkey, I laughed. That chick from Connecticut, I was like, that's right. That's what you get. Leave monkeys alone. Out there. So here you go. Here's the process. Pick your animal type, your role, name, appearance. Now, choose your name. Notice it doesn't say decide on a name. It says choose your name. There's I don't know if it's intentional, but there is a little point to that. Naming in this game isn't as freeform as you might like. You're not going to be Bob the Bear. Because, it's right there. Names right here, you have a lab name. Now, could you still say, I go by Bob? Sure, you can. But you have a real name. Your choice of animal type may affect your name. No, it does affect your name. I don't know why. It says may there because I don't think it says may in the first book. In ancient times, the humans named you after famous people in the old world. Names that have long lost their meaning and significance to you a long time ago. The name also contains a 2-digit number to separate individuals from the same litter. This tradition of giving lab names has continued to this day. Dogs are named after astronauts. For example, Gagarin, 17. Laika, 9. Aldrin, 53. You see what's going on here, right? Cats are named after ancient Romans for some weird reason. Rats are named after famous composers. Well, the character I created was a female squirrel. And if you know Mendelssohn's first name is Fanny. Well, I didn't like Mendelssohn. It didn't sound squirrelish. But you know what? Fanny kind of sounds squirrelish. So I went Fanny, and I can't remember why I went 05. I think it was something to do with Mendelssohn's birth date or something like that. But I went Fanny 05. So if you watch that character creation video, that's where the name comes from. But you can see other ones. Bears are named after famous people in movies. There you go. You can have Eastwood or Clint. I'm Clint. But I wouldn't want a bear named Bogart. Just saying.
Bogart.
But
that's funny.
Apes are named after physicians.
Physicists.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. Physicists. You're right. You're correct. I said physicians and I saw Einstein. I was like, what? You corrected me right there. But because apes, again, are supposed to be smart. So, yeah, if you want, again, an Einstein bear, that just seems a little weird to me. Rabbits are named after famous football or soccer players. And by football, yeah, they mean soccer. Nope, I don't know any of them. Pele is like the only soccer player I know. Do you know anybody else?
Well, Ronaldo, obviously. Beckham,
I don't know.
Just the super famous ones.
Okay. Badgers are named after famous hockey players. Again, I'm from Minnesota. That works for me. I don't know anybody else. And reptiles are named after celebrities in the music business. Pavarotti. Could you imagine that you're a lizard? You're looking like at some sort of I was gonna say alligator, but that's but you're a big ass salamander, a Komodo dragon, and your name is Pavarotti
or Miley. Brittany.
Oh God. You didn't even know, Brittany. You didn't...
Cher.
Okay, stop. And moose are named after classic poets and novelists. Again, I don't know why. So, resistance names. Some members of the resistance dismiss the traditional lab names as slave names, part of the Watcher's oppression. They secretly take resistance names, and this is where you can have Bob the Bear.
Sure.
Oh, apparently they go very Native American here. My name is Big Paw. I'm Spotted Coat. Whatever. Okay, appearance, age. Now, this is something that didn't come up in Mutant Year Zero.
Age.
This is something that does happen in most other Year Zero engine games. So, age. So no one cares how old you are. Well, there is an exception to that. But this is what it affects. Youngsters get 15 attribute points. Mature, and this is normal. If you remember, Mutant Year Zero, everybody's mature. And again, across the Year Zero engine, the middle one is going to be what you call the base, the standard, is the 14 attribute points. And then Elder, you get less attributes because you're weaker, more feeble, for whatever reason.
I don't understand why youngster has more than mature. You should still be developing. They should flip those. 14, 15, 13.
Yeah, youngster is more like, an 18-year-old.
But still, I mean, your attribute points, yeah, you may be. No, actually, if you take any 30-year-old right now and send them back in time to beat the crap out of their 18-year-old self, the 30-year-old will win.
Okay, well, I'm not going to.
99% of the time, the 30-year-old will win.
It's game mechanics, not a simulation.
Okay. Personally, I would flip that. That'd be a homebrew on my table.
You're going to ruin the game if you do that, though.
And I ruin the game. Screw you. I play my game the way I want.
Okay. Because it's going to, I shouldn't say ruin the game, but because skill points are also based on age as well.
Guess what? Also flipped.
How would a youngster have more skill points than a mature person?
He's fresh out of school.
Okay, that's dumb. So again, we have the strength, agility, wits. But there's something different here.
Instinct.
What was it before? It was empathy previously. Now it's instinct. So let's read what this is. Raw animal presence and silent communication. Instinct is decreased by doubt. Remember before, doubt removed or lowered empathy. And is recovered with an animal behavior. What was it before? Like listening to music or something? Having some good vibes for a little bit? Well, now you have to...
Rutting.
Yeah. Well, no. Yeah, if you're a moose. Yeah. And it's determined by your animal type. So skills, again, it's the same as before, 1 to 3.
That's gross.
What? Smoking monkey?
No, just the monkey walking and wearing human clothes. God, I hate it.
See? I'm not the only one that hates monkey. So
no, I just hate animals and human clothes.
We are not going to go through this entire list. Mutant humans had mutant powers. Well, animals, they had mutations, sorry.
Sure.
Animals have animal powers or powers. And those
normal animal abilities, yeah.
Right, and they're based on your animal. And it's just like mutations in terms of you don't get all of these, you pick one. Can you get more later? Yes. But you pick one to start. This is your mutation, so to speak. So as a dog, and I think you can actually, there are ways to get more than one. Because I remember my squirrel got 3, if I remember correctly. And we'll look at that in a little bit. But the hunting instincts, fury, fleet-footed, predator.
Furry.
Oh, you're right. Why can't I read today? Furry, fleet-footed, predator, tail, and warning call. Yeah. And let's look down at the moose. I don't know why I keep going to moose, but moose and squirrel. Antlers, fleet-footed, flight response, huge, which is actually kind of cool, and also has a drawback, and herbivore. And you can see these other ones. A reptile can get poisonous bite. Nobody ever wants to play reptiles, yet if you look at what they actually get probably the best ones.
Natural armor, poisonous bite, fast reflexes. That's an assassin.
Yeah, why wouldn't you play a reptile? They're not right? Cute. Okay.
Oh, whatever.
So, all right. And we'll look over some of those next week when we talk about animal powers and what they do. So talents work the same way as Mutant Year Zero. Every role gets a choice of 3 to start. And then there are general talents. Ranks. Oh, God. Okay, let's go back up here. Where does it start? Feral points. Yeah, let's do that. So mutants use mutation points. Animals use feral points. It's the same concept, though. You get them the same way. It's the same idea. It's just a different name because you're not activating a human genetic mutation. You're now activating an animal power. And ranks. Isn't this for another thing separating humans out of straight? Oh, okay. So I thought it was called something else, but it starts here. This is different from Mutant Year Zero. You didn't have to worry about this. Do you remember how social interaction worked in Mutant Year Zero, at least vaguely?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you have more on your side and less on your yada, 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 right? You get these things that come into place. Well, guess what? Here, it's based on your animal type and your role. Oh, and your age. So your base, if you're mature, you start at a base of 4. If you're a seer, which is the one role that I can't stand, that you'll see why in a bit. You'll have a 9. That pretty much guarantees your success. But what if you're playing that exile? -2 plus your age. So let's say you make that youngster, and you have a -2. That gives you 0 dice.
Yeah.
So
Get good, scrub. Grow
your
up
rank
some.
is a numerical value from 0 and up. Rank is used in social conflicts with other animal mutants. Read more about that, blah, blah, blah. So I don't think there's anything below this box. Nope, there isn't. Because I want it to actually tell you specifically what it does. At character creation, you have a rank based on your age. Rank is then modified based on your role. We got that, which gives a rank of, okay. I thought I was going to say it here, but I guess it does not. Relationships and dreams, that's the same thing as before. When you make your character, you have a relationship with all the other characters. I can show you that on the character sheet. If you want more information on that, go check out the character creation video. I talk about that quite a bit. You have a buddy, you have your big dream. Again, all the same as Mutant Year Zero. And of course, I mean, if the game is going to be played in the same world, if it is going to be using where you can have the characters mix and match, it's going to follow the same generic process, right? All right, gear. Another thing that separates animal mutants from wild animals are personal belongings. That's right, your dog now has a sense of ownership.
Yep.
Starting gear, your role tells you what you can get. Same thing. And your den, same thing as before. Your den. And if you think I'm skipping too much, again, I guarantee you we talked about it when we did Mutant Year Zero. All right, this dude's wearing an Iron Maiden shirt. I don't care if it's anthropomorphic animal or not, he's cool. Developing your animal. We did not cover this in Mutant Year Zero. Somebody mentioned that to me, so I will cover it quickly. When you do, you don't level up. There are no levels in the game. You get experience points, and you can spend those experience points to increase your character. And it talks here about how you get your experience points. Did you participate in the session? I don't like this one. Although it is worded a little differently than I think the other one is. Participate to me means something.
Yeah.
Means that you're not just sitting, you didn't just show up.
Yeah, you have to contribute at least once. Just showing up does get, yeah, you get 1 XP for being there. No, you don't. You get 1 XP for actually contributing.
Yes. And you weren't disruptive. Like if you have everybody laughing every 5 minutes at the table, but it's actually disruptive to the game, but everybody was having a good time. They weren't having a good time related to the game, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you sacrifice or risk something for your tribe? And this is where tribe politics might make things a little weird. If you have a dog and a cat, yeah, I risked something for my tribe, and the dog and the cat are blowing each other up. It's like, or their tribes up secretly or whatever. It's like, I'm exaggerating to some degree, but it's that concept. Again, Battlelords was such a prominent example of that. For those who haven't played it, Eridani and Fentari have like a blood feud, and the Scissorax and the Ram Pythons. Well, the Scissorax went and conquered the Ram Python planet until the Ram Pythons figured out, hey, kitty, we can tease you. You know, whatever. It doesn't make sense to have them in the same group. I just feel that this doesn't go to that degree, but it's still the same. So this is really beneficial if everybody is the same or at least close. Let's say like you have rabbits and mice as the same group. What's that?
Close enough, right?
Yeah, I mean, they are different tribes, but they probably don't like the cats too much.
Sure.
Did you sacrifice or risk something for the resistance? Now, this is going to become very important. Did you sacrifice or risk something for your PC buddy? Remember, that's player character buddy. That's the buddy you picked during character creation. Did you sacrifice or risk something for the NPC you want to keep safe? Again, you're like, what are all these things? Go look at the Mutant Year Zero character creation. Or the Mutant Genlab Alpha. I do talk about, I don't go into the specifics of it, but I do talk about it in the character creation video. And did you sacrifice something to reach your big dream? You know what I see missing from this?
What's that?
It's almost like the Palladium list. I feel almost all of this for your tribe. Now that could be team oriented. For the resistance, okay, that could be team oriented. But for your PC buddy, is that team oriented? You could theoretically say, well, it's about the buddy. Yeah, that's your buddy. It has nothing to do with the rest of the party. Did you sacrifice or risk something for the NPC you want to keep safe? Did you sacrifice or risk something to mess with the NPC you hate? Like, all of these are individualistic. It's something that I kind of didn't like. I would actually port over or prefer to port over the Palladium XP system and give one for like each of those in that list.
Did you have a good idea? Was it successful? Did you save a bunch of people? Did you significantly, advance the plot in some way? You get all this. Okay, I get it.
Yes. The GM has a final say, yada yada. You guys know that already. Change your rank. All right. This rank thing, remember that hierarchy?
Yep.
It can change. Have you defeated another animal with a higher rank than you in dominance conflict? What's dominance conflict? We'll talk about that, I think, next week.
Is that the equivalent of stealing his wife?
No, that is the equivalent of growling louder and locking horns.
Oh, okay.
Remember, you are an animal.
Got it.
Have you risked your life to help your tribe? You know what? If you go out of your way to help the tribe, like, wow, man, you get the Purple Heart, and you get a little bit of respect. People listen to you. If you can answer yes to one, your rank decreases. Have you been defeated by another animal with lower rank than you in a dominance conflict? And have you failed your tribe in some way? So your rank can fluctuate. This isn't something I see happening constantly, but it definitely can happen.
Oh, and it has to be known. Like if you lost a dominance contest in the woods and no one was there to see it, did it really happen? No.
Raise a skill, get a talent, so you can spend XP, 5 XP. All right. I think I covered this last time, but you can raise any basic skill you like, but not special skills from another role. You can choose a talent specific to your role or any of the general talents, but not a talent from another role. And these are the 3 starting talents. You cannot. So if you pick a seer, you cannot pick one of the 3 starting talents from, I forget what the bear fighter is called. We'll just call it the warrior. The 3 starting ones belong. Remember, the special skill and the 3 starting talents belong only to that role. Everything else is general and you can get. Relationships and dreams, and we did talk about that previously. Does anybody wear pants? I guess he is wearing pants. This is what the character sheet looks like. We'll zoom in on this. Very similar to the other one, just it's green. And a little bit more readable. Those who watch the character creation video will know what I'm talking about. So, 2543, again, the dots aren't filled in. I'd fill those in, but same starving, sleepless, hypothermic, dehydrated that we saw before. Parents, yada, yada. Nothing really changes here. Okay, it says feral points instead of mutation points. The skills are the same, except for one. Dominate. That's an instinct skill, and we'll look at that in a little bit. What was it before? I forget what it is for humans already, but that was a different skill then. And why does it say rot points if you don't have to deal with rot?
Yeah.
Because eventually someday you're going to leave here. And also rot can be brought in, but it's difficult. People have met Vivaldi 22, Beethoven 8, again, following that theme. And we'll move on. So let's look at, there are only 5 roles. Only 5. Now you're going to ask yourself, there's only 5. Why would Max say one of them isn't allowed? Again, your mileage may vary. I've had people argue with me a lot about this, that it's not as difficult or problematic or whatever, and I'm just a bad game master. Maybe that's the case, but we'll check it out in a moment. Healer. So, key attribute is instinct and special skill, brew potions. Everybody from Forbidden Lands is angry right now. What? Dumbass animals get to brew potions and we can't? Correct.
That's funny.
But this is actually really awesome because if you remember in Mutant Year Zero, you could brew alcohol. You could, you had medicine rolls and so forth. this character is more of a traditional type healer. It isn't just somebody that can cut off limbs a little bit better. Paradise Valley is a more, I don't call it modern and technological, even though it has robots, probably isn't the right word either, but it is not a decadent place. Unless your definition of decadence is that it's not growing, which I suppose, but it's not degenerate. It's actually a pretty decent place to live. So there is medical technology. What are the talents? Moonshiner, of course, surgeon, therapist, and we'll get to that bit. And gear, if you remember, it's the same as Mutant Year Zero. You start with rations of food or water. Notice it doesn't call it grub here.
No,
it actually says, hey, it's food.
Because it's not just, sustenance gruel. It's actually,
food.
Food, fruits, vegetables, stuff like that.
Yeah. So the healer, I mean, you probably want one in your group, it does his job. The hunter. And there you go. There's Heathen Dog's assassin. Makes sense.
That's gross.
Yeah. What do we have here? Special skill is hunt, and we'll talk about that at the end of this video. Key attribute is agility. Boyer, obviously an archer, a skinner, and a trapper. Anything else special in here? Not really. The warrior.
Oh, there it is.
How does he run? Circus. Anyway, sorry. Measure enemy. You've played Earthdawn before.
Sure.
Measure enemy is almost like spot armor flaw.
Oh, that's
well,
nice.
It's got more uses than that, but measure enemy is pretty dangerous. And this is one of those that when you get out into the Mutant Year Zero game, makes the enforcer cringe. Stonewall, weapon maker, weapon master are the talents. And then the seer. Of course, it's a chihuahua.
Oh, God.
I hate the seer. I'm sorry, I do.
Why? Why?
Special skill scry. When we read scry, you're going to know why.
Okay.
It's the special skill that does it for me. Talents, death visions, sudden visions, and totem maker. Now remember, talents typically refer back to the special skill.
Sure.
So what does it look like the scryer does? Or the seer does?
He sees the future.
Yeah. How well does that work in a game?
Not very. Well, no. It works well as long as you have the game master has fleshed out the adventure, or you're using a module. Then it works great. But if you're sandboxing it, no, not so much.
And the scavenger, which is my favorite role. The scavenger is similar to the stalker. If you remember, like the scavenger, well, nope, the scavenger finds items more than it does finds locations. But you can scavenge. What's cool about the scavenger is with the right talent, you always have a useful item on you. Now, which was it the Chronicler? Or was it one of the roles had it Mutant Year Zero? But I don't know. I just like it here better. Scrounger, there it is right there. Weapons collector, find better weapons. And hideout means you can store, is it store more? No, you always have a hideout. Oh, crap. You know what? I've forgotten. We'll get to it in a moment. Skills. Now, we're only going to look at the special skills. How to roll them, how to push rolls. This is a dominance. This is what dominance is. Obviously, it's artwork, but it gives you the idea. Obviously, you know who's in charge there.
Yeah.
And if this person had a higher rating before, now it drops one. Where is skills? Force, move. What is this? Oh, that's heal. Why is it always the cats doing the healing? Aren't cats the ones that should do the damage? Okay. Right. Heal, instinct, special skills. The warrior special skill. Measure enemy. A true warrior knows that battle is won even before the first blow is struck. You get a chance to study your enemy or if you get a chance to study your enemy for about a minute, you can measure him. Your enemy remains a mystery to you. So this is if you failure. -2 to initiative roll. All right. Success. The GM must tell your enemy's highest attribute and skill scores. You know what you're fighting against. And now if I know that Heathen Dog is, now it could make sense. Well, Heathen Dog's an enforcer. He's going to have a high strength. Now that might make sense, right?
Sure.
But if it says, yeah, his highest scores are in strength and because Heathen Dog realizes that ranged combat is pretty important. And while it's not the perfect, I'm only good at one thing build, he decided to go high in ranged weapons. I now know that. That tells me I'm going after his agility. So guess where every single stunt, every additional success is going to go for damage on you. It's not going to go to take down your strength. I'm going to do that 1 point of strength damage, and I'm put the rest of it towards your agility. So it's a pretty neat ability. And every time you roll extra successes, allows you to choose from the stunts. You detect your enemy's weakness. You get a +1 modification to all attacks against the enemy for the fight. That's not a 1 round thing.
No, that's the rest of the time. Yeah.
Yes. You strike fear in your enemy, suffers 1 level of doubt. The stunt does not work against monsters. Now, well, who cares? Why would you go after doubt? Because a lot of times fighters have a very low instinct or very low empathy. So now, if you can intimidate him to the point of making him just stand down, especially if you break him. Remember, as a fighter, as a warrior, you might be like, oh, I'm stupid. I'm a fighter. I'm a warrior. No, a fighter knows how to fight and knows how to win fights. And if the best way to win a fight is to go after somebody's, is to intimidate somebody into backing down, well, great, because you don't get injured now too. And you can predict your enemy's moves. You get +1 to your initiative roll at the beginning of the conflict. Because remember, you have to take a minute to do this beforehand.
Right. I mean, this is the equivalent of Crocodile Dundee getting harassed by the kids with a knife. That's not a knife. And he pulls out his knife and cuts the kid's jacket, and they run away. He broke them by you didn't even put a scratch on them, but mentally broke them, and they ran.
All right. Scry. And it's based on instinct. You can perform a scrying ritual to discern what will happen during the gaming session. The ritual requires a few hours and can be completed with the help of hallucinogenic plants, a sweat lodge, or other methods of your choosing. By the way, there's a workaround to that. Roll to scry during the ritual. Failure. Your visions are vague and give you no useful information. You cannot scry again until the next day. All right. Success. You see visions of the future showing a certain action, who performs it, and if it succeeds or not.
That seems like everything you need to know.
You, the player, decide. Okay, let me say that again, because it's going to give Heathen Dog a heart attack or an aneurysm. Yeah, you, the player, decide what the vision shows, and you should describe it for all to hear.
All right, hang on. No, you keep going. I'll be back in a second.
Okay. He's got to go relieve himself from that. If the action you have predicted is actually carried out later in the session, regardless of if you are present or not, it is affected by your prediction. If you predicted that the action would succeed, your successes are added to the roll for the action. Now, I know somebody's going to sit here and be like, well, if it doesn't come up, it doesn't come up. Here's the thing. Are you going to play the class if the party continually doesn't go for your predictions? What's the point of playing it if you're not able to use the roll properly? So you know that the party and the game master is going to feel obligated to put up that situation, that scenario. If you predicted that the action would succeed, your extra successes are added to the roll for the action. If you predicted the action would fail, every success you roll eliminates 1 success rolled for the action. If the action you have predicted does not happen during the session, the effect is lost. You must have misinterpreted your visions. Again, you got successes, and typically in Year Zero engine games, 1 success is enough for anything. Now you just turn your success into a failure. Oh, you must have misinterpreted the vision, as if you had already rolled a failure. Nothing about this ability I like. I don't like putting myself in a position as a game master where I have to shoehorn in something dumb that the players have come up with. Yes, I said dumb. I don't like the idea of possibly having failure happen for an ability that should be a rolled success. You remember, you only get 1 chance to roll. Go watch the skills section for Mutant Year Zero. You'll see all about pushing rolls. You see how the success system works and so forth. This entire thing here, from beginning to end, the players coming up with the vision, the necessity of the game master, and I do say necessity. I know I'm being a little hyperbolic about that, but putting it in there, I just don't like this role. You can scry several times during the same session, but you cannot scry again until the action you have predicted happens. And yes, there is a way to make it that you can scry on the fly. There you go. Hold on, let me just keep that there. Keep that there. Boom. Player agency not allowed.
Yeah, I had to go get it.
No problem.
Because I understand that if I may allow a seer, but I'm not allowing that foolish nonsense.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Did you hear everything that I said about it? The weaknesses on both sides when you walked away.
That one sentence just ruined the power.
Well, no, I get, but imagine this, and this is what I said. Yeah, I'm going to duplicate, but I want Heathen Dog to hear this for the purpose. If you roll a success, but the players don't do what the seer envisioned, it becomes a failure. And what is the point of the user engine and rolling dice? If you get one success, what does that mean?
It means you succeed.
Yeah, you don't have to continually do rolls. This means that the game master isn't officially or technically, but spiritually is obligated to make sure that what that player character saw happens in the game. Now, what if you set up a resistance and you're like, we're going to go after watchers over here. But the player, and players do dumb stuff like this. Oh, I foresee that Heathen Dog is going to get into a fight with an amphibian, and he's going to deal a lethal blow against the amphibian, and that's going to, it's cloudy, but it looks like it's going to cause the amphibians to regale him with whatever. Now, as the game master, I'm like, God dang it!
Wow, you just gave yourself a whole bunch of stuff, didn't you?
It's like, now I have to figure out how to get him over with the amphibians because this wasn't supposed to go over there. Now, is it impossible? Absolutely not. Can a good game master do it? Sure.
But is it a player bullying a game master? Yeah, it is. Yeah. No.
So, and again, I may have gone a little far with this scribe, but you get what I'm saying. Like I don't like that conceptually. I don't like the players dictating what's going to happen in the game. Now, if it said that the game master comes up with the vision,
that's different.
I would be okay with it. Or if there was something else about the scrying that came out that didn't say, crap, I've got to shoehorn this in because he succeeded in the role, I might be more apt for it as well. But without beating a dead horse on this, it's not one aspect of it. It's the entirety of how it's written that I want to play a seer. Nope. Like, that's just the way it's going to be. A seer are going to be NPCs. Healer. Brew potion. There are many wondrous plants in Paradise Valley. To the untrained eye, most of them might look like weeds. But you know which plants heal and which kill. You pick them, boil them, and extract the useful substances. First, you must choose which kind of potion you want to brew. There are different types. Then you must spend a few hours in nature to find the right herbs. Then you roll to brew potion, or go pay somebody to find the herbs for you. I don't care. If you fail, potion has no effect. Or it's a different effect, which is fun. Success, the decoction. Is that a word? Decoction? I've heard concoction. I've never heard detoxion. Decoction. Whatever. Maybe I've just been educated on a word. I don't know. Has a desired effect. Every success you roll creates 1 dose of the decoction. Storage. Up to 10 doses of the same potion can be stored in a bottle or something similar. So you can actually have like a 10 potion vial. You got that. And the types are healing, invigorating, stimulating, intoxicating. I think there's more in just a moment. But notice that each one of these fixes one type of damage.
Sure.
And then, there's sedating, which inflicts a point of confusion, and lethal, which inflicts a point of damage. D6 points of damage.
A healer assassin.
Yeah, you could. Well, you know what? Doctors have access to medicine that can kill you, right? Yeah. Scavenger uses wits. You pick up all the stuff and scrap you can find and cram it into a cart or a backpack that you always drag around. Every time you need a particular item to perform an action, roll to scavenge. You can't find the item if you fail. Success. You have the appropriate tool for the job. You decide exactly what it is. That's okay. You know what? The player agency in this case doesn't matter. Why? Because the item gives you a gear bonus equal to the number of successes you've rolled. Usually the gear is in bad condition is only good for 1 use. You can make the gear more durable at the cost of 1 rolled success. In that case, write it down and put it on your character sheet. This was similar. I think it's the scavenger from Mutant. Weapons. You can scavenge and find a blunt instrument extra successes can provide a better weapon. There you go. The scavenge skill cannot be used to find food, water, arrows, or bullets. So you can't find free money. And you have a horde. The Carter backpack.
In this game, bullets are money again?
No, in this game, bullets are bullets.
Okay, there you go.
Oh, wait. Don't quote me on that. We'll find out in a moment. I forget what the currency is. I've never officially run this. I set up a game for Genlab Alpha, and then the players quit. Oh. And it wasn't because of me. It's because they're like, well, we just wanted to play D&D.
Well, why'd you have me go? You know what?
Yes, that I was. Did you hear about that when that happened? Did I tell you about it? Oh, yeah, I was pretty pissed. I almost left that group because they agreed to play, and then all of a sudden they're like, no, we just want to play D&D. If there isn't going to be a game for those couple of weeks, we'll just wait and come back for D&D. All right, thanks for having me put the work into making this. Anyway, your horde, your Carter backpack with your horde counts as a heavy item, but that's okay. If you lose your horde, you have to recreate it by finding new stuff. This requires 3 successful scavenge rolls where every roll requires several hours of searching. Don't worry about that. And by the way, only dick game masters keep taking it away from you.
Yeah, it's the same thing as keep killing somebody's horse. It's just a dick move.
Yeah. But it's with that horde that you can use that scavenge skill that you've got. Almost, you should have found a nice backwards place to misplace him. Yeah, I was angry. Don't get me wrong, I was angry, but it is what it is. Hunt. As one of the tribe's hunters, your job to track and kill game to feed your tribe. You can use hunt in 2 different ways. You can hunt small game. If you spend a few hours, you can hunt for small game in the valley. Every success allows you to bring down enough game for D6 rations of food. Hey, that's a lot better than hunting out in the year 0, right?
Yeah.
Like, you weren't wrong when you're like, why are we trying to get out of this place? Just a few robots we got to worry about. Track beasts. Now, this is probably going to happen more during your game session. You can hunt to find tracks from monsters as well as humanoid creatures. The GM can modify the roll if the tracks are old or easy or hard to follow for some reason. If the roll is successful, you easily find the tracks and see in what direction your prey has walked. For every extra success roll, you can choose a stunt. Well, what kind of stunts? What kind of creature left the tracks? A wheeled robot. How far from it are you? Looks like you're about a kilometer away. Is it wounded? It's leaking oil. Is the prey alone? Yeah, it's just one set of tracks. And I think that's it. That is it. But
it's Smokey the Bear.
Yeah. Notice that a lot of the animals smoke. Like, didn't we have a monkey smoking before? And then
yeah.
And this is that dichotomy with Free League that drives me crazy. Because Sweden and the way they've changed their books tells me that they're woke. And, I can't stand that. But then they do things like this. They remember that characters can die in a game. They remember that, the goblins from Forbidden Lands, when we get to that, are just absolutely fantastic. They don't have a problem with Smokey the Bear. It's like, you guys, I love you in one hand, the other hand, so, but yeah. I don't think is there anything that I said we were going to talk about? Talents, so the specific talents we'll get to next week. I can't think of anything else. Oh, dominance. I do want to, animal powers we'll get to next week also. So I wonder if I can control F for dominance.
Wasn't it a skill? That was a skill.
Yeah, you're right. It is. I wanted to go through the process of it though, which is it's part of social combat.
Oh, okay.
But we can look at the skill version of it first, just because you are correct. Apparently, I can't do and instinct, special skills, dominance, or dominate. Lies, flattery, manipulation were humankind's ways of making others obey. Animals have another way of breaking down resistance. And animals' conflict of rank and dominance. You roll dominate when you want to make an NPC. Don't do that to player characters. Yeah. Act according to your wishes. This is an opposed roll where you roll dominate and your opponent rolls sense emotion. I think he's angry. Your demand must be reasonable. It's the same thing as social conflict. Your demand must be reasonable, blah, blah, blah. Failure, won't listen, won't do what he says, might even start to dislike you or even attack. Remember, you're growling at him, okay? Or whatever else animals do to prove dominance. Arching your back, looking like a Halloween cat or something. Success must choose to either, so if you succeed, you must either choose my God, must choose to either do what you want or immediately attack you. If he's just dead set about not giving you his watch, or in Heath and Dog's case, his wife, he's got to attack you. And you can use extra stunts to sow fear and doubt in the opponent's heart. What I wanted to look at, though, was rank. And if I can't find it easily, just know that it is an important aspect of the game. Okay. And if I pass it, scream at me. It's the same concept for injury and so forth, which is why we're not going to cover that here. Drowning, darkness, explosions, the rot. Why is there rot? Well, I guess, okay. I can't find it quickly. Just know that those rank levels do come into play with social conflict. And I probably should have had it. I thought I was going to find it easier than that, or else I would have had a page
it adds
number.
to the dice. Yeah, your rank and your roll are what, the base dice?
Oh, what just happened? Hold on. There we go. It adds to your base dice, because that's the way everything works, with regard to that. Or is it skill? No, it adds your skill dice. Adds your skill dice.
Hang on. So you can say, if you want to use a year zero engine parlance, you could say it's more like gear, social gear. Your rank and your roll are your social gear dice when you're rolling dominance, because dominance is a skill and it's based on instinct, and then your rank and roll are your social gear.
All modifiers are to skills, so it'd be to the skill dice first, and then after, if you got the negatives, then it would take away from your attribute dice after you lost all your skill dice. But don't quote me on that, only because there's always a little nuance in these games, and I didn't look that up beforehand. I should have. I thought it was going to be right there. I was mistaken. But dominance is an important part of the game. But if you go through the social combat portion of the combat video, I think it was in part 2.
Mutant Year Zero. Yeah.
For Mutant Year Zero, you'll see how the social conflict works, and then just add in the dice for your dominance.
Right. Okay. So we got some chat.
Right.
Got Coco Chico says, I think I want to be a bird.
There are no birds.
There are no birds. Yeah, I don't know why. There's no birds. I mean, in the main story, there's a damn duck, right? In the story, there's a duck. Where's all ducks? Is he all alone? What happened?
Again, the computer game was made by a third-party company. It was based on the game, but unfortunately, no. The reason there are no birds, they don't want them to fly away. It's that simple. There are no birds because they're keeping everybody locked in.
That is super easy enough. But birds can fly, yes, but mutant birds are too human. Their bones aren't hollow, so they can only get like 10 feet off the ground or hover or some other nonsense.
Kind of use it like insect wings from the mutations from Mutant Year Zero.
And we have Crafting Gamer says, sounds like if Heathen Dog was forced to play in this game, he would play a lizard, slowly assassinate the party, and say, okay, here's what we're actually playing. yeah, that sounds good. I like that. It sounds nice. Then we have Crafty saying, did you participate in the session? It doesn't say, did you show up? I think Free League means that you did something. Hang on, I got this. That you did something meaningful during the session. I believe that too. I would really be happy, though, if what they meant to say is what they actually said. That would make me happy. What they actually said is you get a point for showing up. That's a quote.
I think the first one, if I remember correctly, Mutant Year Zero actually does say, did you show up, or something similar to that, if I remember correctly.
Well, in this one, it says show up too. It's in the parenthetical. You get 1 XP for showing up.
Oh, did it actually say that?
Yes,
Hold on.
It actually said that.
Oh, I skipped that part, because I would have railed. Oh, I'm too far away. I would have railed on that if I had seen that.
So, yeah, I mean, I hope it's what they meant. It's just not what they wrote.
Yeah, so, I have a problem with that. Just because you showed up does not mean
you're useful.
Look, I get it. Some people aren't strong role players, or they're intimidated by the group, or you got the alpha dominant male, so to speak, and that's always taken. I'm here. And some people just have respect, and they sit back on it. That's fine. If the person's trying, that counts. What doesn't count is like
sitting back there playing on your Switch.
Game Boy.
Well, I went more modern, but yeah. All right. And then we have Perfect Tangent. Also not a fan of games where players have the ability to dictate story. And hang on, don't answer that yet, because we got a lot of them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Why not write a book? Don't overthink scrying. The GM tells them what the GM wants them to see. That's not how I wish it was what they wrote, but that's not what they wrote in the game.
Yeah, it specifically says player. That's
Player decides. That's exact.
And by the way, you can get this shirt. If you want one of these shirts, you can get it on our Redbubble store. Description in the link below.
All right. It may not. Mar Hawkman, I think you got the right idea. Mar Hawkman had prompted this by saying, "Hey, well, if the player says it, then the game master can screw with it, or
Yeah,
or
but that's like screwing with a wish spell.
I
You do
know,
that once or twice. Haha, it's funny. After that, it's just like, really?
I know. Then we have I see a spaceship. That's the seer. The player saying I see a spaceship instead of being an actual ship. It's on a TV or a playground bouncy ride or whatever. Yeah, again, that's funny the first time.
Yeah.
And then the player stops thinking it's funny. You can easily make this backfire on a player for derailing you. The thing is, why are you punishing the player for something that's the book's problem? The book made the issue by saying the player decides what the future is going to be. That is ridiculous in both concept and execution. Absolutely ridiculous and can't work.
But before we move on from that one, go back to that for a second. This goes back to like what I was saying a moment ago about messing with people's wish spells or killing the player's horses or the scavenger's sack. It's like, yes, you can do that. You can punish the player. But how many times will the player allow himself to be punished before he says, "You're just a dick"?
And just walk away. Yeah. Then W says again, can you play a human or mutated? Well, it depends. You in this thing, if you played Mutant Year Zero first and you found Eden and Eden happened to be Paradise Valley, you can break in.
If all of those things that aren't in the game linearly aligned are now linearly aligned because it's your world and you can do what you want with it.
You can.
But I mean, ultimately, that is the point. The point is to play the animals, break free, join the zone, play the robots, fix well, get out of the dome and join the zone. Oh my God, I got to reread Elysium because I forget what it is that their political struggles are against, but defeat their elders or whatever the heck it is, and then get out in the zone. Yeah, at that point, all of them. And I didn't cover it here, and I probably should have. Not only do they mix, but you can learn any one of these roles as any one of the other species. So if you want to be a scry as a mutant human, you can do that once Paradise Valley is and the mutant animals are out. That Chihuahua can teach you how to be a scry.
A seer.
A seer, sorry. Good thing. Right.
Yeah. So yeah, but the thing is, I mean, if the game master wants it, the mechanics of the game completely allow you are walking around one day and you find a human child. That's entirely possible. Probable? No. But is it possible? Yeah, it is. And the mechanics of the game allow it. So it's not going to destroy the game. It's not going to unbalance it, overpower it, whatever. Now, what are the watchers going to do about that? What are the other animals going to do about that? You can have the game master and you can have some fun in figuring that out. But no, all of the Year Zero engine games, for the most part, work with each other. I'm not going to say flawlessly or seamlessly, but mechanically they all work. So it's possible. Yeah. And that's it. That's what we got.
Okay. And yeah, I did look at that. It says you get 1 XP just for being there. Yeah, no. No, you don't.
That's exactly what it reads. And if they wanted it to mean something else, they should have written it in a different way. Because it especially when you're reading the written word, it's really hard to read the mind of the author. Really is. I'm going to go with impossible.
Ultimately, I mean, do I like this game? Yes. In fact, the reason why I'm probably pointing out more of the negative stuff about it is because we've already covered Mutant Year Zero, and I'm not going to have 5-6 weeks to cover this game. So we're pointing out the differences, and well, some of those differences are a little meh. One of the things I absolutely love, my literally favorite aspect of this game will come in 2 weeks, barring an interruption, when we cover the Resistance. I think the way the Resistance is set up is fantastic. And is such an amazing way for a game master to set up the next adventure.
Oh,
you seem mellow today,
very
dude.
mellow today. Yes, I am. Well,
right.
except hating anthropomorphic animals. So then that. Yeah.
If you like this and want to see some more of Year Zero Engine games, like, subscribe, share, leave a comment below. Tell me what you think about this. What are your thoughts on Scry? And I'm just going to be upfront with everybody. If you put in there, any game master could get around. I know that. It's just you're putting extra work on the game master, and you're setting the players up to blame the game master. Like, I normally don't agree with Heathen Dog, and he's like, well, then the game master gets blamed because you used a spell a certain way, or the game master gets blamed. I'm like, I don't care, blame me. But this is one of those cases where, yeah, the game master is going to get blamed, or the game master has to capitulate. So, and I agree with that shirt. In this case, I agree with that shirt 100%.